Welcome back, fellow rookies. Upon request, in this video we're talking about the top things you need to do to prepare your land to build on. If you just purchased or plan on purchasing some land, then this video will help highlight what you need to be prepared for in preparing your land to build on. You prepared to be prepared for preparing? Still with me? Good. Here we go! Now, before we start, once again, I'm only speaking from our rookie experience and what we've learned so far after purchasing our land. The point of our videos is to show you our journey at this point in time for educational purposes. It is not meant to be the end-all be-all, and I might go as far as saying it is to get you comfortable with failing, as you will see us do along the way. End of disclaimer! With that being said, let's talk about the 6 main things we have done so far to prepare our land for putting a prefab home on it. But more importantly, what the county requires from you to approve your build. Before you do anything, make sure you have a foundation person or company ready to work with. I would recommend locking in with working with a foundation specialist before committing to building with any prefab company or traditional builder. Even if you go prefab, you're still in charge of laying the foundation before they come to deliver the home. When I started looking for a foundation company, I went down a list calling nearly 50 companies in the area to no avail. Most all of those companies did not answer the phone, and if they did, they were too busy to take on any new jobs. Then a couple of days later, one person called me back. He sounded like an older gentleman who was semi-retired from his work and had just moved to the area. He had many years of experience and a lot of knowledge in all aspects of building a home. I got the impression he had some time on his hands these days, which meant he might be able to help us with other parts of the site work, such as installing a septic system, electrical hookups, grading a driveway, but most importantly, laying the foundation. We were very happy to have him on board, but remember we called nearly 50 people before we found him. An area like Joshua Tree and many other rural vacation spots have a limited amount of local contractors to handle these new building surges. Now, if you plan on hiring a general contractor, then they may already have people that they work with. Having said that, make sure you have a general contractor locked down as well, because you could run into the same issue with all the local ones too. Now, one of the main and first requirements in the approval process with the county is to submit a site or plot plan for your project. To do this, first and foremost, you must have a boundary survey performed on your land by a professional surveyor. The surveyor finds and records all the exact locations of the corners and boundary lines of your lot. They also locate and record other important aspects of your land, including power poles, dirt roads, fences, concrete slabs, Joshua trees, water meters, overhead electrical lines, etc. From here, he or she produces the required professional site or plot plan, which maps out the boundaries and locations of all of the elements of the land we just mentioned. Like finding a local foundation specialist, finding a local surveyor who is available can be a challenge as well. You can always work with a bigger engineering firm who will provide you with surveying services, but this will cost much more than a local independent surveying company or person. In fact, the local surveyor we used would not get back to us, but after continuing to reach out, he finally called me back. He was a very nice guy and I enjoyed talking to him, but he told us he would not be able to do our survey for 6 months. At the least. He was also semi-retired. Sense a theme here? Mainly living out of state now and only coming into town for multiple surveying jobs at a time. Except during the summer, because he was no longer willing to survey in that heat. Then by chance, he contacted me a month later. He said he was doing an impromptu vacation back to Cali to visit his son. He said he was willing to take on a couple of jobs in the summer to help pay for this trip. Before he could finish his sentence, I said, let's do it! Being I was in the midst of getting some pretty high quotes from these bigger engineering firms. Now, if your land requires that you move at least 100 cubic feet of dirt or soil to build or place your home, for example, if you plan on building on a mountainside or slope, or if you need to fill in dirt to an area to build on, then you may be required by the county to do what is called a topographic survey, or topo for short, which is basically a 3D map showing all elevations and features of your land. To the best of my knowledge, we will not need to do this because we do not need to move this much dirt to build, especially since we plan on building near the flat part of our land where the concrete slab sits. If we do decide to move forward with building though, time will tell if the county will ask us for a topographic survey as well, which will be an additional expense. Before you pay for any surveying to be done though, check with the county assessor or the building and safety office to see if they have a recent enough survey from a past owner on file. Yes, you did hear me say if we move forward in building. Check my previous video for more context regarding this. You will be able to click or tap on it during the end titles of this video. By the way, is anyone noticing the gradual growth in my facial hair throughout this video? A lot of info to give in this video, so I had to space out the filming over a few days. So I didn't lose my mind. So if you're getting anything from this video, please be a pal and crush that like button, and subscribe if you'd like to keep track of our journey. Notification bells, all that jazz.
And all that jazz.
Similar to the boundary survey, you'll want to first check to see if there's any percolation or soil test already on file with the county. Typically, these tests are valid for 2 to 5 years. What is a percolation and soil test, you ask? Well, more than likely, you're going to need to install a septic system for all of your sewage needs. Before you can do this, you need to have a percolation test done by a geological engineer. You got the quotes, right? You got the quotes? When they do a percolation test, they're essentially checking the absorption rate of your soil. Basically, they're making sure the soil is absorbent enough for the part of the septic system known as the drain field. Now, this is the biggest bottleneck for your land preparation because you'll have to wait at least a couple of months before the geological engineering company can get somebody out to do the testing. After the testing is done, you'll have to wait another few months before they send you the reports you need to submit to the county. On the day of the testing, they come out to your land with a big truck and a massive drill. They dig holes in your land, then run water into those holes and record how long it takes for the water to completely absorb. When they came to our land, the truck ended up getting stuck trying to get there. I should have directed them on the dirt path along the northern side of our property. Let's take a look at how this played out, shall we? This way you could also see what a percolation test looks like.
Yeah, this is the perking soil. It's got the drills and everything. Look at that thing. You'll keep going straight here. Uh-oh. You can get this jib to get it up. I should have just opened this freaking fence. You're the man. Crisis averted.
Yeah, you could probably make it.
That's awesome. So you're just seeing how it absorbs the water.
Now, depending on the location of your land, you may also need to complete a soil test. This test is done to make sure the soil is strong enough to hold the structure or home in the event of an earthquake. To the best of my knowledge, they basically take a soil sample from your land and test it off-site in a lab somewhere. Because we were in seismic zone E, we were required to complete a soil test because of the heightened risk in that area when it comes to an earthquake. After the perk and soil tests were done, that same geoengineering company helped us to add the septic system location to our site and/or plot plan. I emailed them the site plan we received from our surveyor and let them know where we planned to build the home and how many bedrooms and bathrooms there would be. They then determined how big the septic system would need to be and where it should be located on the land in relation to the house. Then they drew the septic system and drain field onto that same site plan. They then placed their license stamp on the plan, much like our surveyor did, which is one of the requirements by the county when submitting a site plan. Now, you won't be able to start installing your septic system until all the required paperwork for your plans are submitted and approved. More on that later. Now, regarding preparing the power and/or utility pole for your land, which hopefully is nearby your property, for more information on this, click on my previous videos at the end titles. 5 things to look out for when purchasing land. As mentioned in that video, we were fortunate enough to get an active utility pole within close enough range from where we plan to build. However, we can't start receiving power or temporary power from it until our plans are submitted to the county. When we do submit our plans, then the power company will have an engineer come out to best assess how we can connect and provide us with temporary power for our site work and construction. To conclude, the best guide for all of the required prep work to submit to the county for permits and approvals is the Residential Plan Check document. This document is provided by the county and it outlines exactly what they need for the plot and home plan. If you're planning to go prefab, then that company should create all of the floor and foundation plans mentioned in that document. But it is up to you to provide the site or plot plan as well as lay the foundation in preparation. San Bernardino County refers to it as the Residential Plan Check, but you can always reach out to Land Use Services or the Building and Safety Department of your county, city, or township to help find this type of document. Speaking of reaching out, it's been very helpful for us and will be very helpful for you to establish a relationship with a county or city employee by reaching out over email with any questions you may have. Not only have we found this to be the most efficient way to get answers to our questions, but it also helps in getting status updates and expediting documents you submit through their online portal. We're hoping this will help if and when we finally submit all our necessary documents for permits. All right, fellow rookies, please don't hesitate in checking out our previous videos to learn more from our journey, and thanks as always for your support.